call this meeting of the Fremont County Board of Commissioners to order. If you'll please rise and join us for an invocation from Bradley Buck from Bridge to Life, followed by the pledge.
Thank you, Father, for offering us mercy and grace today through Jesus our Savior. And I ask in his name that you will give our leaders wisdom to cooperate with you in what you want to accomplish in Fremont County. Thank you for inviting us to work together with you to see your will done. You are a good God, and we trust you to do what will be good for us and what will be good for your kingdom. Thank you, Father, for loving us with a steadfast love. I pray that you will be honored in all that's said and done here today for the sake of your great name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bradley. Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Present.
Commissioner Bell.
Present.
Commissioner Grantham.
Here.
County Attorney Bellis.
Present.
County Administrator Croce.
Present.
Planning and Zoning Director Victoria.
Present.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda. I don't know of any changes.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, I was distracted for half a moment. I move to approve today's agenda as presented.
I will second that. It has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
As you can tell, young Sheldon is on the tube with us today instead of getting us all sick, so appreciate that, Commissioner Grantham. On to the consent agenda. I will note that we are not scheduling any public hearings, and then there is one piece here ratifying the chairman's signature on an agreement between Chaffee County and Fremont County regarding the joint civil action against Linda Stanley. We've talked about this in the past, or it's been in the news, whatever. There will be a suit filed. It hasn't yet, but Chaffee County has jumped on with us, and as soon as that is filed, the news sources will, of course, be notified of that. But I just wanted to mention that so that there's no questions on what that is. We've also reached out to Park County and Custer County to see if they would like to join the suit or not, but that's where we stand on that.
All as members of the 11th Judicial
Correct.
District. All right. Mr. Chair, I move to approve today's consent agenda.
I second that. It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to administrative and informational. We're going to start with the sales and use tax report. Mr. Sean Sutton, our finance officer. Good morning.
Morning, Sean.
Morning. Thanks again for your time again this month. Before I get started, I just wanted to wish the millions tuning in, those present, a very happy Thanksgiving. This is obviously a special time of year, so hope you enjoy lots of friends and family on Thursday. With that, so retail sales tax collection for September 2024, general fund totaled $799,535, which is $3,567 less than 2023. Year to date, we sit at $7,100,519, which is $46,960 less than 2023. However, versus budget, we are $913,019 ahead of our 2024 budget. As you can see, 4 out of the last 5 months have been less than 2023, which was expected and something that we budgeted for. So we'll continue to monitor that as we close out the year. Obviously have 3 months of collections here, October, November, and December, to end up 2024, and then we'll begin 2025. Also, just want to note that the $7,100,519 that I mentioned here, again, there is a split between three entities here in the county. It's split between general fund, 45%, 15% of the $7 million goes to the sales and use tax, and then 40% goes to the sheriff fund. So just again, wanted to note that for all those people out there. Next is the auto use sales tax collection. This is for October, which totaled $177,795. This is $40,878 more than October of 2023. Year-to-date, we sit at $1,482,274, which is $107,341 more than 2023, and then ahead of budget by $419,774. So last 2 months, clerk's been very busy, not only with an election, but also in the auto use sales tax area. So. Lodging is the next report. This is a quarterly collection that you'll notice here, which totaled $102,467 for September. This is $18,164 less than 2023. Year-to-date, we sit at $277,808. This is $8,641 less than 2023. However, versus budget, we are $11,558 ahead. Next report is sheriff retail sales tax collection, which totaled $533,023. This is $2,379 less than 2023. Year-to-date, we sit at $4,433,678. This is $31,302 less than 2023. However, again, versus budget, we are $439,928 ahead. The final report today is the sheriff retail sales tax portion, which totaled $118,530. This is $27,252 more than 2023. Total collections, $988,184. This is $71,562 more than 2023. And then again, ahead of budget by $300,684. So overall, good reports to offer again this month, and we'll continue to monitor them as we move through the rest of the year.
Thank you, Sean. Any comments?
Yeah, just a quick comment. I just want to say thank you for kind of breaking out that retail sales tax and where some of those funds go. I think it's always interesting to note that the county doesn't collect a whole lot that it just keeps together. So, yeah, in many cases, a lot of those taxes actually go to all of the other special taxing districts and entities. But even when it's counties, it still goes into a lot of different funds. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you very much.
All right, now we move to the county clerk's monthly report, Mr. Justin Grantham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The total motor vehicle fees, sales tax, and recording fees collected for October of this year were $1,668,129.45. Fremont County's portion for disbursement is $926,747.11, which is 56% of the total fees and is $157,035.72 more than October of last year. Year-to-date, for the end of October, our office is up $348,964.23. And I will note, if people missed the last meeting, I did mention that this was primarily because 2 years ago, there was a huge transfer of company vehicles from one company to another, and that again happened this year, pretty much same time frame in September.
Different company.
Different company, different set of vehicles, but that's it's a rare occurrence. So next year, about this time, we will see numbers slack off by quite a bit if there's no big company transfers again. So,
Thank you. It's interesting to note, I guess, here too, that the $926,747 is for disbursement. That kind of breaks down, like Sean said a minute ago, how that was broke down. This the county does not keep that $1.6 million.
Yes, of that 1.6 to that 920, that's what the state gets to keep,
Right.
that's 700,000, and then 926 is split up between not just the county and the two big municipalities, but every single individual special district gets a piece of that pie too. So it's a lot of money that does not stay here.
It does not stay here, it's just collected, yeah. Thank you, sir. With that, unless you have a comment, I would move.
No, I was just going to say thank you.
Yeah.
Numbers are always interesting, so next year, though, it is going to look a lot different, I think.
With that, I would move to accept the clerk's monthly report.
Second.
Has been moved and seconded to approve the October monthly clerk's report. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall,
Aye.
Commissioner Bell,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now, we're honored here today have our county assessor, Stacy Sievert.
Why
She's
did you
gonna-
laugh when you said that?
Because she started laughing. She's going to talk to us about the property tax reduction bill, and I know we've talked about this many times, if we weren't sure what's going to happen in the future, and I think she's going to try to enlighten us some. Good morning.
Yeah, well, it's not good news.
Nope.
Good morning, Stacy.
So, what you have is an actual house in Canyon City. And what the effect of House Bill 24B 1001 is going to have on the taxes for that house. In 2022, they paid $1,447 in taxes. In 23 and 24, the tax bill's $1,566 because the assessment rates stay the same over those two time periods, and the state put in place a $55,000 actual value exemption on residential properties. So that's what kept it at the $1,566. Now the state is calling that a temporary reduction. When they did the extraordinary session at the end of August and came to a deal with Michael Fields and signed off, this is what we ended up with. 2025, the assessment rates change. However, we now have, the schools have their own assessment rate and everybody else has a different one. The schools have a higher assessment rate, 6.95%. All other entities, taxing entities, rec districts, fire districts, the county, they have a lower assessment rate. But what it results in is a tax bill of $1,840 for this house. So close to a $300 increase for 2025, which is payable in 2026. Now you go to 2026, which is payable in 27. You have the split assessment rates, one for the schools and one for everybody else. And notice that the one for everybody else goes up considerably in 2026. And then there will be a 10% actual value exemption on residential properties up to $70,000. However, that 10% is not applied to the schools. They will be assessing your property at the full value without the exemption. So now we result in a tax bill of $1,823 for this same house. And I'm using the same value from 23 all the way forward. I'm using the same mill levies for Canyon City all the way forward. So that's your property tax reduction bill. $300, $300 to $400 increase for this house. Now let's go to page 2. All other non-residential property except oil and gas and natural resources is going to have their assessment rate reduced over the next 3 years, 4 years, from 27.9% to 25%. Now the example up there is a $500,000 commercial building on Main Street. Their taxes are going to go down $400 a year over the next 4 years. And also the important part on there is when you're looking at the assessed value of this property, it's going to decrease by $5,000 a year over the next 4 years. And what this does in this extraordinary session bill, they also put in place a revenue limit on every single taxing entity, of course, except the schools, of 5.25%. So you can't collect more money next year over and above 5.25% over the prior year. You might think, looking at this, that those increases in the residential rates and the residential revenue is going to push these entities over the 5.25%, so they're going to have to lower their mill levy. Well, they're not, because of page 2. They're going to lower, and we're talking commercial, industrial, agricultural, all of those outbuildings, all of that stuff, the rates are going, vacant land, good God, vacant land is huge. Those rates are going to go down. So you're not, and this is my prediction, my opinion, you are not going to see mill levy reductions over the next few years because of that revenue limit. Simply because residential's going up, everything else is coming down, it's kind of a wash. But the reason that I'm doing this today and the reason that I'm going to continue to hammer on this is the public needs to know this. You need to know what's going to happen to your tax bill in January of '26. It's going to go up. And yes, I'm going to try and deflect some of the people that come, because I always get blamed. So, but this is what's going to happen. This is your property tax reduction bill, and that's the effect it's going to have. And I used a very typical house up in North Canyon, and it's an actual property, an actual value. Those are going to be actual taxes, and this does not take into account any value increases that may happen next year or in 2027. So it's not pretty what's going to happen. And the one thing I can tell you is that if you read the fiscal notes that come along with House Bill 24B1001, there's an explanation in there that says that the state is shifting the burden of supporting our schools to the local property owners. That currently we pay, as Fremont County, to our school districts, we pay 44% of what it takes to operate those schools. The state wants to shift that up to 60% locally funded. And then that reduces their portion of what they have to backfill to the schools to operate. So that's where the calculation comes in. And when you look at 2027, there will be a whole new calculation as to what the rates for the schools are going to be based on what the percentage is that the local community is paying to support those schools. So there you go. Any questions?
I have a couple of comments,
Yeah,
if I
sure.
may. I'll leave it with just a couple. First of all, you mentioned a couple of times the extraordinary special session.
Oh, that's
that was
what they
held.
called it.
I would call it the extraordinarily terrible
Oh, yeah.
session that was held. For me, though, probably the most frightening thing is we've all seen what the valuations of our homes here in Fremont County have done since COVID. They've done nothing but climb and increase and just skyrocket. And these numbers don't even take that into account. So when you think about what these look like and think about how much your taxes have gone up incrementally over the last few years, put those things together and that won't be close to accurate, I don't think.
Right. I'm working on 2025 values right now, and it appears that it's not going to be a huge increase. Not in residential. There are some West End land values that are over the edge. But overall, residential looks like it's going to be 5 to 10% increases. So,
There
You
you
know.
go.
So much like the Inflation Reduction Act that added trillions to the
There you go.
deficit.
Exactly.
We've got a value reduction for our property tax, which makes them go up. Makes a lot of sense, right?
There you
We've been worried about this a lot. I thank you for this explanation. And as you pointed out, you're just doing your job. It's what the state has directed you to do, so it's not your fault that these properties are doing
Oh, and
this.
just so you know, I have an emergency
Yeah.
reporting meeting, Zoom meeting at 11 o'clock this morning
For this,
for this.
yeah. So we're all dealing with it. I mean, I think all of us have seen our property tax jump the last few years, like you just mentioned, and they're just gonna get worse. Probably still don't even know what's beyond that, the way
Right.
this is
Don't know.
formulated. So, yeah, it's too bad that it's an unknown, actually.
Yeah.
But thanks for being here and starting to sound the alarm. I think a lot of people are going to be talking about this.
Yeah,
so.
they need to be, and they need to understand what's coming down from above.
And you have plans, I believe, to be out in the community talking about this as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely, as many meetings as I can go to, and then, we'll wait 6 months and I'll do it again.
So
And then
anyone
I'll
who's
wait 6 months
interested in
after- yeah.
booking you to come and speak,
Yeah, it's like, hey,
Give her a
you
call.
need to know this.
Well, that's a good time. We encourage folks to always reach out to the state legislators, and this is another good reason for them
I
to
have
reach out.
I have a complete email list, by the way.
And you
that
would
I
share
can-
that
I can
readily?
share that
Happy
with
to share
anybody
that.
that wants it.
Yeah. Thank you, Stacy.
Thanks,
All
Stace.
right. Oh, you guys have fun.
We always do.
Okay, now we'll move on to the county administrator's report. Mr. Tony Croce, good morning.
Morning, Tony.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody today?
Good.
Good. Till Stacy got up here.
What's that?
I was good till Stacy got
Yeah,
up
I
here.
know, right? Just a couple things this morning. First, I'll go through the job opportunities that we have posted for the county. We have an project engineer position that closes December the 31st. Our Department of Human Services, we have 3 openings. We have a child welfare caseworker on the ongoing team. We have an economic security technician on the family ongoing team, and we have a caseworker position on the ongoing team. The sheriff's office, we have a deputy patrol position that closes December the 2nd. And in our clerk and recorder's office, we have 2 vacancies. We have a motor vehicle clerk 1 that closes November the 27th, and a motor vehicle clerk 2 that closes November the 27th. So for more information about employment opportunities with Fremont County, please visit our county website at fremontcountyco.gov, or you can call directly to our HR department at 719-276-7409. Update on our Grandview Bridge project. It is complete as of today, excluding some minor final punch list items. Today is the contract end date. The final walkthrough was conducted yesterday on November the 25th with county staff, Canyon City Water staff, engineering consultant staff, and our prime contractor representatives. There are some punch list items. They were mostly minor, but it includes like cleanup of debris that should be completed by this morning, survey and marking of property lines for landowners, addition of a delineator that was completed yesterday afternoon, additional hot asphalt mix around several guardrail posts, and that should become available in the next 3 weeks. Some grading of dirt along the edge of the asphalt on the street northeast of the bridge, and then some seeding and mulching of disturbed ground, and that is completed. The contractor has repaired and graded the neighboring business owner's parking lot and entrance onto the street, which was used as a turnaround for trucks and equipment. Landowner and county access gates and fencing installation is also complete. So today, there will be a ribbon cutting ceremony at 3:30 p.m. at the Grandview Bridge, and the road will officially reopen following the ribbon cutting. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank our county engineer, Jay, for the tremendous job he did as a project engineer for the Grandview Bridge. Just tremendous job, Jay. And I have some pictures for everyone.
Looks like a bridge again.
Looks like a bridge.
What?
What do you mean again? Finally.
Finally, yeah.
Yeah, it came out really nice.
That's a beautiful bridge. They did an amazing job.
And you can see where all the seeding and mulching is. So again, it looks really nice addition to the community, so, and a long time coming.
For sure.
So anyway, Yeah, anyone that is interested can attend the ribbon cutting this afternoon at 3:30 at the bridge. And then finally, I just want to, if I can get this to blow up, probably not, maybe. So our custodial staff came in this weekend and did decorate our county admin building. And I would strongly, if I can get another picture here. I'm really a really good technology guy. So it just looks beautiful. They did a great job, and they put a lot of hours in this weekend, so just wanted to share that. Please come down and look at our beautiful building.
All right, thank you, Tony, appreciate that. Thanks
Yeah.
for the pictures.
Great report, thank you. I also, pictures are good, pictures are great. I would also say come down to our building and take a look. It is beautiful down here.
Okay, anything else from up here?
Certainly.
Commissioner Bell?
Couple of things I would like to mention. First, last Friday, Commissioner Grantham and I had the opportunity to attend Adoption Day at the courthouse here in Fremont County. And we do, I kind of characterize it as we do a lot of really hard things in our jobs as county commissioners, but that day is the fun day. That's the good stuff. We got to see a 2-year-old boy being adopted, so congratulations to the entire Stoltzfus family. But I also would say, as difficult as this job can be, being a caseworker at DHS is probably 1,000 times harder. Those people pour their hearts and souls into the jobs that they do, and this is the result, is days like this, when not only a child finds his or her forever home, but a family also has the opportunity to bring another child in to their hearts and into their lives. And it's an incredible day, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who was involved with that. And speaking of giving thanks, Mr. Chair, I would just mention, obviously, Thursday is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I hope that you will find it in your hearts to be thankful and grateful for not only your friends, family, your entire life, but also our military, because I truly believe that we would not be the land of the free if we were not also the home of the brave. So thank you so much for everything you all do to our military, and stay safe during Thanksgiving travels. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Clerk Grantham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I didn't want to do this during my report because it has nothing to do with motor vehicle or money, but the election is done. We certified Thursday morning, and I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Fremont County, because out of all that, we had a 79.84% turnout.
Nice.
Which is amazing. There was one precinct, more in your district, Commissioner McFall, with an 85% turnout.
No way.
Precinct 10 had an 88.43% turnout. So it's becoming really amazing, the turnout that we had, and the amount of people that we had 1,955 people vote in person between our voting centers. And it just goes to show we actually had 4 open this year, and it's going to make me rethink on how my 2 further away ones, Florence and Penrose, are, because they're overburdened on election day, and we need more space on those. So we'll be looking for bigger places to go that way as well. But I just thought I'd give people a heads up. 6B was in contention because we had some outstanding ballots we were waiting to come in after our 8-day holding pattern, and that passed with by 83 votes. So I just huge shout out to everybody. This was a huge election, and it took 3 elections to get here. We had one in March, one in June, and I just want a huge shout out to the election judges, to my staff. This election could not have happened without them, so huge shout out to them. And then I would also be remiss to thank Kathy Elliott, our treasurer. We just had a property tax sale last week, and I was talking to her last week, and it went off without a hitch. Smooth, and they got it done well within time frame to come back and process stuff. So huge shout out to our treasurer's office and their job that they did last week, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you. Commissioner Grantham, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just give a bit of Commissioner Bell's comments on Adoption Day. It was a great privilege to be able to participate in that, and happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I thought since I'm on the TV here over your shoulder, Mr. Chair, I thought I would remind folks that are listening in and those that are in the audience, because I haven't been able to make it into the office this week for illness reasons. Just a reminder to folks, though, that you can participate regardless through watching it on YouTube, plus all the materials that are actually part of our meetings are online. And so that's kind of how I am participating today, except for the part that you have to be subjected to seeing my big ugly mug on TV. You know, you could participate through YouTube or Facebook Live, and I think Facebook Live, and all the materials that we have access to are there on the commissioner's portion of the county website. So just a reminder. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Guthrie. I just want to note that you can participate. However, we don't monitor that during a meeting, so we can't reply if you put a question in or anything like that.
Correct. Thank you.
I just have a couple of quick things. One, obviously, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and hope you have a blessed, safe weekend. And just wanted to note again that our building is still lit up green in the front of this administration building in honor of veterans. We did it for the whole month of November. It was a nationwide campaign from National Association of Counties, who designated a week in November, and we stretched that out to the whole month of November just to thank our veterans for their service and all they've done for our country. So just wanted to mention that. If you haven't driven down and seen our building at night, it looks really cool with the green lights. And then our staff has made that where we'll be a little festive, and it may turn to red lights for Christmas. So it's kind of cool.
Maybe.
Yeah. Wait and see. And then so that Clerk Grantham doesn't think that I forgot something, we've had a lot of moisture, but it is still fire potential out there. So be very careful when you're out and about this weekend having fun, and don't start any trees on fire. Anything else up here? Okay, this is a portion of the meeting where citizens who wish to address the commissioners of matters not scheduled on the agenda are to speak. And I expect Todd and Stacy here for the public hearing, right? Right, okay. So is there anybody that would anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none. I do want to note that we have a public hearing scheduled for 9:30, but I'm going to do the first two items on our agenda first, so we can get, our engineer's got some things to do with that bridge, so I want to get him up here, but then this other temporary use permit. So we'll start with number one, which is a temporary use permit, 24-017 for Pop's Christmas Town. It's a request to create a Christmas in the country theme. The event will start November 29th and go through December 29th. That's Friday through Sunday. The event will run Friday starting at 3:30 and ending at 7:30. Saturday and Sunday start at 12 and ending at 3:30. And we have Steve Smith here this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And congratulations on the election.
Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Planning and Zoning. Mike Fowler just was over the top on helping and getting this thing going. This is our first year doing this stuff, so it's been an exciting time, but a difficult time. My family has put this Christmas town together. They've done all the work on it. My daughter did all the drawing. I did that drawing, and I apologize for it. It was a last-minute deal, my last thing I had to get, and I was rushing down here to get it. So, but it's going to be a really neat operation that they've got there. It's the theme of it is a simpler time at Christmas. The kids have done all the painting. They've put all the lights up, made a whole town. Town is, when we're talking simpler time, we have our antique cars out there with the Christmas trees on it. There's going to be slides. There's a pipe that the kids can slide down, a whole play area. Lots of area for picture taking for families to celebrate Christmas coming in. The whole area, almost probably about 4 of the 5 acres will be in lights. It's going to be really nice. And every year we plan on getting better with it if we are able to manage this thing this year. Have a complete kids play area. We have spiced apple cider that will be served. There are going to be fireplaces all through the area where the people can do marshmallows and s'mores and just a whole complete family theme. It's really exciting, especially this first year, but I really want to thank you guys for all the help that I got and all the encouragement and my family was unreal. This is a whole family event to be able to do this, and they put it all together, and my daughter did all the drawings, all the paintings, everything. So thank you very much for allowing us to hopefully get this thing done.
Thank you, Steve. I'm looking at the pictures, and he talked about the kids' play area, and it's the coolest thing about it is there's a culvert that's probably 20 feet long, which is a slide. That's pretty awesome. That's country time right there. All right, there it is.
There it
is. Great picture there.
Yeah, and it's all lit up. It's sparkling lights on it. The maze is lit up. We have a bowling alley with hay that the kids can play on, and lots of stuff to be able to do. I wished we would have caught that where it's all finished, but we were running, trying to get this thing all done. So,
All right, can I get a staff report, please?
thank you for for understanding
Yeah, you
the
betcha.
difficulty of it.
Dan,
All right.
Victoria.
Hey, everyone. Today we have TUP 24-017 Pops Christmas Town. It's going to be for a Christmas in the Country theme with a lit up forest, decorations, and scenes that while riding a trailer pulled by a tractor. Location is 1940 13th Street. This will run from November 29th through December 29th, Friday through Sundays. This is the first year that Pops Christmas Town will be having this event. This is the second TUP that he has applied for at this location. The first one was a pumpkin patch with no negative feedback received. Property is located in the agricultural rural zone district. Bottled water will be available for purchase on the property. No vendors will be present. Snacks and mini pizzas will be available at the event to purchase. Customers will cook their own pizzas in an outdoor pizza oven. Restrooms are available inside of the winery for customer use, and an 8-yard dumpster is on site for all refuse. This area will be serviced by the Florence Fire Station number 2. We've received an approved fire protection plan signed by James Peterson. This property is not located in the floodplain. Let's see here. FCDOT made the request that any debris or trash is to be cleared at the completion of the events from roads or right-of-ways, if there's any, and that roadways cannot be blocked by the applicant or other people who attend the event. We have the proper insurance. We do have a waiver request of a surety bond. So with all that being said, this application is in compliance with the requirements of the Fremont County zoning resolution. Staff recommends approval of the TUP with the waiver of the surety bond.
Thank you, sir. Any questions?
I have no questions, but a couple of quick comments.
Whoops.
Oops.
Apologize. Okay.
And as was mentioned already, this is your second temporary use permit this year. The first was for a pumpkin patch. And Dan just mentioned we had no negative feedback on that. And I can't tell you how important that is to us. This entire process is intended to mitigate all of the potential issues that are out there. And apparently, you all did a really good job with that. And having no one complain about your entire event makes it pretty easy for us to look really hard at doing a second one. I understand this is at 1940 13th Street, correct?
Correct.
In Penrose, okay. And it starts this Friday if this is approved.
It does.
So just
It's
a couple more
approved, yeah.
days. So, Mr. Chair, with that, unless you have comments, sir, I have a motion.
Nope. I'm ready
Right.
for motion.
I move to approve temporary use permit 24-017 for Pops Christmas Town. This event will start on November 29th, which is this Friday, running through December 29th on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Fridays from 3:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Saturday and Sunday from noon until 3:30 p.m. at 1940 13th Street in Penrose. And this motion does include a waiver of the surety bond.
Thank you. I'll move to second that. Has been moved and seconded to approve TUP 24-017 for Pops Christmas Town. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, good luck, sir.
Steve,
Thank you very much.
Have a good Christmas. All right, item number 2 is notice of award for the detention center rooftop, rooftop unit project. We have Jay Bunderson here. He's the Fremont County Engineer and Project Manager. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah.
Bail me out here, would you?
Sure. Yeah, though that title, that project name is my doing, so sorry about that. But yeah, we have a committee that met. The bids were received for this project to replace the rooftop units at the detention center. They were getting old, and I think they weren't working that well. We got 3 bids. And I wrote a memo to y'all to document what the committee recommends, and that's what I'm kind of going off of here. We got 3 bids ranging from $319,000 approximately up to $484,000. There was only 1 bid, however, that was responsive to all our requests in the bid advertisement. We requested warranty, total cost, of course, the manufacturer's specifications, and more importantly, maybe the previous experience of the contractor with photographs and locations of their other work. So there was only 1 contractor that gave us that information. It was the middle bid by Freedom Mechanical for $359,000. And we've had great experience with that contractor so far. They're excellent, top-notch. So with that and all the items that we requested in the bid advertisement, we would like to recommend that they be awarded the bid, Freedom Mechanical, to replace the rooftop units at the detention center for $359,000.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate the work that you've done on this. Yeah, it's been kind of a long time in the making here. Those units have been failing, so we need to get those replaced. Any other comments, Commissioner Bell?
No, just, again, thank you. But this wasn't another easy project, so we appreciate all your time and attention.
Sure.
Anything, Commissioner Grantham, before I ask for motion? Okay. I'd entertain a motion.
Sure, Mr. Chair, I move to award this bid to Freedom Mechanical for the detention center rooftop unit replacement project.
I will second that. So it has been moved and seconded to award Freedom Mechanical the detention center rooftop units at $359,000. Get those replaced. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Jay. Okay, we'll finish the rest of this agenda after the public hearing. So we do have a public hearing scheduled, and it is to designate of state interest by Fremont County to include site selection and construction of major new domestic water and sewage treatment systems, any major extension of existing domestic water and sewage treatment systems, site selection and construction of major facilities of public utility, and efficient utilization of municipal and industrial water projects and regulations concerning the same. These are what we refer to as 1041 regulations. And I just want to tell you a little bit of the history. In 1974, the Colorado General Assembly authorized the state local governments in making planning decisions for matters of statewide interest. These powers are commonly known as 1041 powers. They're based on the number of the bill that was proposed legislation. It was a House Bill 74-1041. These 1041 powers allow local governments to identify, designate, and regulate areas and activities of state interest through a local permitting process. The general intention of these powers is to allow for local governments to maintain their control over particular development projects, even where the development project has statewide impacts. The statute concerning the areas of activities of state of interest can be found in Colorado Revised Statute 24-65-1-101. Those areas of interest that were listed in that are, let's see, selection sites and construction of major new domestic and water sewage treatment systems and major extensions of existing domestic waters, which I mentioned, site selection and development for solid waste disposal sites, hazardous waste disposal sites, site selection of airports, site selection of rapid or mass transit terminals, stations, fixed guideways, selection of sites of arterial highways and interchanges and collector highways, site selection and construction of major facilities of public utilities, site selection and development of new communities, efficient utilization of municipal and industrial water projects, conduct of nuclear detonations. I don't think we're going to do any nuclear detonations here, but the use of
Maybe we can prevent that.
geothermal resources and commercial production of electricity. And so we've talked about these for a few years, and a lot of the federal meetings that I'm on with the National Association of Counties, the talk across the country is public utilities, basically solar, wind, nuclear, geothermal. Those conversations are getting bigger and bigger all the time, and starting to happen across the country. So we felt that it was time that we needed these to protect the interest of Fremont County land use and have a say in these facilities if they do go up. So that's why we're having this public hearing today. I'd like to thank Ms. Jackson and Eric Bellis, for mostly Ms. Jackson, for working on these 1041 regulations. There are some other counties within the state, 6 or 8 of them, that also have these 1041 powers, so it's not like they reinvented the wheel, but it did take a long time to come up with these, and appreciate the work that you did on them. And with that, I'm going to open the public hearing, and then I'm going to turn to Ms. Jackson and ask for an expert opinion on these 1041 rules. Ms. Jackson.
All right, this is just going to be a general overview of what's being proposed as far as the regulations. This is a public hearing on accepting comment both on the designation itself and on the regulations as proposed. As Commissioner McFall noted, there are many areas and activities of statewide interest that the county can designate, and having designated can then regulate in those areas. And the board has limited the scope of the proposed regulations and designations to just 3 areas, no areas, just activities: major new domestic water and wastewater treatment systems, extensions of existing water projects and wastewater and water treatment systems, new municipal and industrial water projects, and then site selection and construction of major facilities of a public utility. The definitions don't contain, or the regulations don't contain a definition of public utility, but that is going to be added should the board proceed with the regulations. And the definition will be consistent with how public utilities are defined for taxation purposes, property taxation purposes under 39.4.101 Colorado Revised Statutes. So an overview of the proposed regulations, there are 10 chapters. Chapter 1 is the administrative provisions, which basically tells statutory authority, consistency, and interaction with other regulations of the county, the authority of the board, the authority of the Department of Planning and Zoning to administer the regulations and approve these types of applications. Chapter 2 designates the matters of state interest that the board is interested in regulating at this time and the purpose for the public hearing. And so matters of state interest include both areas and activities, and as I noted earlier, the board is just looking at activities at this point in time and no specific areas such as natural hazard areas. The county already has flood prevention regulations in effect, which would also fall under 1041 powers. So Chapter 2 basically tracks the statutory language and the process for designation of these activities and adoption of the regulations, setting out procedural parameters and the basic process to be filed when the regulations apply. Chapter 3 is the nuts and bolts procedural and application requirements for a general 1041 application. Permits are required for any of these activities. Subpart C in Chapter 3 is called a FONSI provision, which basically means finding of no significant impact. So it's an exemption provision for projects for which these regulations don't apply and are not intended to apply. So smaller projects, limited projects that the board believes will have no significant impact on the public or the community. And those can be exempted from provisions, from compliance with the remaining provisions of the regulations. There is an application process to have a FONSI determination, and the Board of Commissioners makes that determination. So it would still go before for a public hearing for input on whether or not the full set of regulations should apply to the project, or if it should be exempted and fall under normal zoning and/or subdivision processes. So the notice provisions for obtaining a permit, how the permit hearing is conducted, the record that is kept of the permit, the application submittal requirements, which are extensive, including just about any category of impact you could imagine, are covered in the application provisions. Some will not be applicable to all projects, but when applicable, they need to be complied with. It includes socioeconomic impacts to water, impacts to air, property rights, other permits, impacts to the neighborhood. It also includes decommissioning, how the project will close down ultimately at the end of its useful life. What services will be impacted, including housing, economic impacts, recreational opportunities, impacts to paleontological, historic, or archaeological importance, environmental impacts. So it just basically covers the whole breadth and scope of the project. Obviously, larger projects with more impacts will have more of a burden to complete the application. There are some professional requirements as far as surveying and, depending on the nature of the project, getting back to impacts and how the county will be affected. Moving on to Chapter 4, the permit, once the permit is submitted and deemed complete, then Chapter 4, we'll talk about the approval criteria that the board will be looking at in evaluating the project and whether or not it should be approved under that criteria. Chapter 5, financial assurance. Financial assurance covers everything from the commencement of the project to reclamation and decommissioning of the project at the end of its useful life. So not only does the county want to see the project completed in a timely manner and adequately funded for its operations, but also decommissioned and reclaimed in a timely manner and a manner that will leave as few impacts as possible when the project is over. There are scope of financial assurance. It's very flexible as far as the type of financial guarantee that will be provided. It can include bonding, it can include cash, irrevocable letters of credit, or anything else proposed by the applicant that will cover the financial responsibilities that are anticipated in the future. The financial assurance provisions also contain provisions for reviewing the amount of the financial guarantee and increasing or decreasing that as appropriate. Chapter 6 is permit administration and enforcement, essentially how the permit is to operate, annual inspections and reviews, how permits are transferred, the availability of judicial review for an applicant who disagrees with the county's decisions, and then enforcement and penalties for noncompliance with the permit. Chapter 7, 8, and 9 are add-on provisions to the application requirements set out in Chapter 3. So for municipal and industrial water projects, Chapter 7 contains additional submittal requirements for that type of project, and then additional criteria for the board to follow in evaluating and ruling on the application. Chapter 8 is the same thing. It is additional provisions for new domestic water and wastewater treatment systems and major extensions of existing systems. So there are additional submittal requirements for those types of projects, and then additional criteria for the board to follow for the same type of projects. And then Chapter 9 is the same thing. There are additional provisions that are applicable for an application for major facilities of a public utility, particularly solar facilities, wind facilities, and then general facilities for such as transmission lines and the like. So the Chapter 9 addresses those additional submittal requirements and additional criteria for the board's review and decision on the application. And then burrowing down even further, there are additional provisions within that chapter for solar facilities and for wind facilities. And with respect to wind facilities, including vibration, noise, that would go off-site potentially. So those are addressed separately, and that would require additional submittal and review requirements for those specific types of facilities. And then lastly, Chapter 10 is the set of definitions that are specific to the 1041 regulations, and there will be one added to Chapter 10, and that's defining a public utility. So that's the broad overview, and if there's any questions from the board, I'm happy to answer them.
Hundreds of questions.
Let's go.
No, thank you. Thanks, Brenda. There's a lot of detail in here. That was the high level and of course, the outline of it. There's so much to each of the body of all of that. Commissioner Bell, anything?
I would simply note that this is not our first time of seeing these. We have workshopped these, we've discussed them, gotten the questions that we originally had answered already. So just please know that we are familiar with these regulations, and that's why we're looking at adopting them this morning. And again, yes, thank you so much for all the hard work, because I know this has taken months to get to this point.
A few months, in fact. We put a moratorium in almost 6 months ago now. Would that be the end of December? Would be 6
I
months?
think it went into effect June 12th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that by statute, we were able to do in order to come up with these regulations. So we've got some folks that are ready to utilize these as well, sitting in the room today. So we're trying to get these wrapped up as quick as we can. Commissioner Grantham, anything?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just probably no questions. I mean, this is kind of a big document that we're pouring through, and have time for the public to look through this as we get ready to adopt these. Just maybe a reminder on the genesis of this, and we've been talking about 1041s for quite a while. In fact, prior commissions have been talking about 1041s here for quite a while, and really this came about because of some state interference in our potential local authority on land use regulation, and this is basically putting a hedge of protection around our ability to protect neighbors, protect land rights and land use rights here in Fremont County from state interference for a preferred, currently preferred use of land, without going into any other detail on that, I suppose. But in any case, this is not a path that we, I think, sought to go down for any of us, but it's kind of forced upon us by actions from the state, and happy to take the action in order to keep local control local.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Grantham. All right, this is a public hearing, so I have, is it Todd? Todd? Hammerbacher?
That's correct.
There you go.
All right, come on up. Just, again, state your name and who you represent.
Okay. My name is Todd Hammerbacher. I'm a commercial designer for Freedom Solar Power. I'm here on behalf of Freedom Solar Power to address the proposed photovoltaic solar array project for Estes Rockets, located at 1295 H Street, Penrose, Colorado. This ground-mounted system was contracted on March 9th, 2023, with the size of 480.15 kilowatts DC and 360 kilowatts AC. All project documentation was submitted to Fremont County on March 12th, 2024. Since then, the project has been under the Moratorium Resolution 25, dated June 11th, 2024, without further communication from our county. Our legal counsel has sent a letter in July 2024 seeking clarity, next steps, and a point of contact, but the only response we've received is the moratorium notice. That notice states the moratorium applies to site selection and construction of major facilities of a public utility. I'd like to explain why this project does not meet that definition. One, this is for private use. This system will be located entirely on private land and is designed for self-consumption to meet the energy needs of Estes Rockets operations. There's no intention to sell energy back to the grid. It's not utility scale. Colorado Revised Statute Sections 40-2-123 defines utility scale projects as those exceeding 2,000 kilowatts in rated power output. Even at the federal level, the U.S. Energy Information Administration classifies utility scale projects as over 1,000 kilowatts. The proposed system at 360 kilowatts is well below these thresholds. And then Fremont County 1041 guidelines, Chapter 10, Section W, regulations define a utility scale solar energy facility as a project occupying 9 acres or more. Our proposed project covers only 1.5 acres. This includes all associated electrical equipment and fire safety setbacks. And then to summarize here, this project is on private property, does not service the public, and does not meet the size or scale requirements for a major utility facility classification. I respectfully ask the board to reconsider the applicability of the moratorium to this project. Additionally, I urge the county to consider our client's role as a competitive employer in Fremont County and the importance of moving this project forward in a timely manner. And that's it. I'm here to answer questions and learn how we can proceed. Specifically, I'd like to know the best communication channels to keep this project on track. And thank you guys for listening.
Thank you. Any questions for him?
Thanks for being here. No questions.
Okay, and then we have Stacy Martell. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to be here with you today. My name is Stacy Martell. I'm currently the Chief of Staff at Estes Rockets. As many of you know, Estes is a family-owned business and has been located in Penrose for more than 65 years. Our founder, Vern Estes, still lives in Canyon City, and generations of Estes employees have lived and continue to live in Fremont County today. Today, Estes has more than 70 employees. For more than a year, Estes has been developing a relatively small solar project to power our office and manufacturing facilities in Penrose. This solar project is vital to allow us to remain cost competitive as a manufacturer in the region. This project is funded in part by a grant from the United States Department of Agriculture, bringing more than $500,000 in federal grant funding to Fremont County. While we've already secured the interconnection approval from Black Hills Energy, the permits needed to move forward with the construction of our project were withheld. In June of this year, there was a moratorium issued in Fremont County preventing those required permits. A delay in the issuing of our permits for this project will jeopardize our ability to utilize the federal grant that we've been awarded, making the project much harder to finance and implement. We've reviewed the moratorium and we agree that the moratorium is meant to keep utility scale projects from adversely impacting the community and the environment. And as part of this community, Estes is committed to this goal as well. Our installation is planned for construction on existing Estes-owned land at our manufacturing facility. The parcel where the project will be placed is already zoned industrial, meaning that no land acquisition or zoning changes are required to complete the project. Additionally, the solar installation was sized to meet the needs of the Estes manufacturing operations and not to maximize production for the sale back to the utility. Panels and installation methods are all industry standard, and the company we've engaged to design and install the project, Freedom Solar, has completed hundreds of solar projects nationwide. I stand before you today and urge you to please consider an exception that will allow our project to continue to move forward, as this is not a utility-scale generation installation, but a project to generate electricity for the company's own use.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you. Accepted, I heard accepted from the back corner over there. Yeah. There's a little delay there. Okay, that's all the names I have. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? None?
No one?
Okay, last chance. I'm going to close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Okay, we are not making a decision on this today. We're taking this public comment. We have another workshop scheduled where we also need to figure out some particulars in this, in part of the definitions, I believe. So I would suggest that if anybody thinks of anything, probably shouldn't do this because the public hearing is closed, but just let me know if there's something else that you thought of later that you didn't mention today. Any comments?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I would just say this clearly is a major new set of regulations for Fremont County. When we do something that is such a change to what tradition and history have been here, we don't like to come into a meeting and listen to public hearing and just make a decision at that time. We need to digest a little bit. I will freely admit, I expected much more public input today than what we just had. I expected a room full of people who had a lot to say about this, and so I'm a little bit surprised by that. But having said that, the other thing that we choose to do when we implement something new and very important like this is we like to create a set of findings to let the public know why we were led the way that we were. We can't do that before we have public input. And so we do have a workshop scheduled to have that particular meeting to talk about any additional changes that we might need to make and to create a set of findings that will lead us into the appropriate decision on this. So we will need to table this. So, Mr. Chair, whenever you're ready for a motion.
I'm ready.
Do you want to see if Commissioner Grantham
Do you have anything,
has
Commissioner
anything
Grantham?
to say?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Mr. Chair, I move to table this designation of activities of state interests by Fremont County, also known as 1041 regulations, to our next meeting, which occurs at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, December the 10th, which gives us one extra day to have these in place before that 6-month moratorium would automatically expire.
Yeah, I second that. It has been moved and seconded to table this till December 10th, 9 o'clock meeting. Any further discussion? I will note that we're trying to get through these as quick as we can because we know it is affecting projects. And like I said, again, thank you to Ms. Jackson who worked hard on these to get them done. So we'll get these out and we'll know next at the next meeting. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate your patience throughout this entire process, I guess. It's been quite a process, and it hasn't been a very easy one, but we're getting it done as quickly as we can.
Yeah, I think even Dan's office with the application and stuff is in the works as well. So for those that it does affect. So it's been a long process, so appreciate the patience. Okay, we're going to get back to the agenda. We have item number 3, which is a reappointment of Chris Wood to the Fremont County Fair Board with the term ending December 31st, 2027. We have several reappointments here, and I will note that all of these folks have indicated by letter that they would like to be reappointed to the positions that they have. Chris Wood was appointed, just like 3 months ago, I think, to fill a vacancy of a person that was no longer on the Fair Board, so that's why he's up for re-election again. And with that, I would move to reappoint Chris Wood to the Fair Board, term ending December 31st, 2027.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to appoint Chris Wood to the Fair Board, term ending December 31st, 2027. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next one is another Fair Board member that's been there for over 50 years, which
She
is amazing.
impressive, yes.
Reappointment of Dolores Comstock to the Fremont County Fair Board with a term expiring December 31st, 2027. Wow, it just amazes me. And I
Mr.
would-
Chair,
go ahead.
this lady has been involved in 4-H since she was a child herself. She has spent more than 60 years as a leader of 4-H here in Fremont County, and I'm really happy to see that she is not only able but willing to continue her service to Fremont County. So with that, I move to reappoint Dolores Comstock to the Fremont County Fair Board with the term expiring on December 31st of 2027.
Second that. It has been moved and seconded to reappoint Dolores to the Fair Board. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And another reappointment to the Fair Board with Christina Brubaker. I believe this will be her second term. She's done a great job for us with the term ending December 31st, 2027. With that, I would move for that reappointment of Christina.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to reappoint Christina to the Fair Board, term ending December 31st, 2027. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
This one is a reappointment of Keith Berry to the Fremont County Heritage Commission with the term ending December 31st, 2027. Commissioner Grantham?
I believe we skipped one.
Is Betsy Denny the next one on the agenda?
She is.
Looking at
Oh, I am. I'm sorry. Betsy Denny. Yep.
Let's try that again.
So if it's okay, Mr. Chair, I'll just make some comments for all 3 of these.
Absolutely.
All 3 of them are Betsy Denny, Keith Berry, and Lisa Stutz are all for reappointment on the Heritage Commission. It's certainly a privilege to be able to sit in with this group of folks on a monthly basis and talk about preserving history here in Fremont County. And they all have a very interesting and unique perspectives and a passion for our history here. And so I am pleased. I would like to make this motion at least for Betsy Denny. And I would move for the reappointment of Betsy Denny to the Fremont County Heritage Commission with a term expiring December 31, 2027.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to reappoint Betsy Denny to the Fremont Heritage Commission, expiring December 31st, 2027. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now, the next one is Keith Berry. Mark the other one off first. Keith Berry, also to the Fremont County Heritage Commission, term ending December 31st, 2027. I'll move to appoint Keith Berry back to the Heritage.
Let's see if you wanted to do it all.
It's that delay, right?
Yep.
Do I have a second?
Oh, second. Sorry.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Keith Berry to the Fremont County Heritage Commission, term ending December 31st, 2027. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And item number 8, reappoint Lisa Stutz to the Fremont County Heritage Commission, term ending December 31st, 2027.
Mr. Chair, I make this motion to reappoint Lisa Stutz to the Fremont County Heritage Commission with the term expiring December 31st of 2027, along with a note of gratitude for all of these folks who serve on all of our county boards.
Thank you. I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded to reappoint Lisa Stutz to the Fremont County Heritage Commission, term ending December 31st, 2027. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Bell.
Aye.
Commissioner McFall.
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. With no further business before us, we are adjourned. 10:14.